to tell you something shocking, and it's actually the reason why I told all the non-Jews to stop watching this video. Here's a fact I don't really want conspiracy theorists to hear. All of Donald Trump's children are either married to or dating Jews. All of them. The most famous of his kids, Ivanka Trump, she married Jared Kushner, who's Jewish, and she converted to Judaism herself. She actually took a Jewish name, Yael Trump. Her kids, Trump's grandkids, are Jewish. They probably call him Zadie. But it's not just Ivanka. Donald Jr. is married to Vanessa Hayden, who's Jewish. Eric Trump is married to Lara Yunaska, who's Jewish. They married under a Jewish chuppah or wedding canopy at Mar-a-Lago, an exclusive club that used to ban Jews until Trump filed a massive lawsuit against the bigots to let the Jews in. And then there's Tiffany Trump, Donald Trump's other daughter by Marla Maples. She's not married yet, but she's dating a Jewish man named Ross Mechanic. Trump has one more kid with Melania. His name is Barron. He's just 10, so it's not yet 5 kids out of 5 who were with Jews, but I wouldn't bet against Barron dating a Jew, would you? That's in Trump's personal life. His company, the Trump Organization, pretty Jewy. Executive Vice President, Michael Cohen. Other Executive Vice President, Jason Greenblatt. Chief Financial Officer, Alan Weisselberg. There's a token Gentile as Chief Operating Officer, pretty much the Shabbos Goy who goes into the office by himself on Yom Kippur. Here's Donald Trump as a parade marshal at the Salute to Israel March in New York in 2004, a dozen years ago. He's been pro-Israel and pro-Jewish long before this campaign. And his campaign? Jewish. Stephen Miller, the firebrand speechwriter and spin doctor who also gives the warm-up speeches at the crowd for Trump's rallies? Jewish. I saw this. Michael Aboud, communications coordinator. Sounds Muslim, right? No. Sephardi Jew. Steve Mnuchin, finance chair. Jewish, of course. So everywhere Trump goes, he's pretty much outnumbered by Jews. His own family, his staff, his circle of friends. I wonder if he ever feels like he needs a break from us.
Yeah, that's just a quick reality. And that guy uploaded that video on the 12th. Today's the 16th. I mean, I showed you guys too. Indonesia got wiped out. Look, man. Indonesia approached Netanyahu at the UN. Then Indonesia's wiped out. Now look at this. Australian officials to speak with Indonesians over Israel embassy concerns as it happened. Government to have talks with Jakarta. Do your research. Jakarta is a Freemason. As it considers moving Australia's embassy to Jerusalem. Government blames administration error for its support for its okay to be white vote. Catherine Murphy, Morrison's desperate embassy stunt is a silly idea designed for him to cling to power. And you guys can go do this shit. Here's a blog here. We'll take a listen to the video. They also talk about New Zealand. And New Zealand right there, the BDS activists fined by Israel, right? They raised $23,000 for Gaza. All right, pledge the money they raised to support mental health programs in Gaza instead of paying Israeli court fine. Mental health programs. Gee, amazing. Okay? You guys can go check that type of shit out. Over in Germany, Berlin, anti-racism rally in Berlin calls for destruction of Israel. And again, a lot of shit's been going on with Germany. I showed you too. Donald Trump comes out and says Russia's holding Germany fucking hostage when they made them pay $88 million to Israel. Right? Massive march, estimated turnout of over 200,000 people held in the heart of Germany's capital city on Saturday. Protest right-wing extremism. Right? Obliteration of the Jewish state, support for the BDS movement, campaign against Israel, all that shit. I mean, I don't know how that happens. New Zealand, Australia, back to the U.S. Democrats push back after New York Times says party is drifting on Israel, looking to unseat Republicans in November in midterms. Opposition lawmakers scramble to reaffirm support for Jewish state. Yeah, the illegal state that's destroying Palestine and everything else. Killing Palestinians for fun. At least they arrested a policewoman for that. Robert Menendez from New Jersey hardly needs to establish his pro-Israel bona fides, of course. He is guaranteed a standing ovation every time he appears. And isn't he all under all these massive corruptions and all this other shit and found guilty and everything? But yeah, he's still running. And people actually have the balls. I actually see them walking my dogs. They have signs in front of their house for Bob Menendez to be Congress. But the New Jersey Democrat joined a gaggle of colleagues last week in reaffirming one of his signature issues, after the New York Times suggested to Democrats' support for Israel is tottering. Oh, a new wave of Democrats test the party's blanket support for Israel. Really? You guys go through this shit. Let's see. What did it just say right there about Trump and not him? Let's see here. Let's see. Democrats who have indeed questioned orthodoxies about support for Israel, and there is more broadly a readiness to criticize the government of Netanyahu, arising in part from his open pro-Trump partisanship. Really. Amazing. Amazing shit. Syria, they just reopened the crossings with Jordan and Israel-occupied Golan, which was closed down by rebels. And who are the rebels? Being funded and armed by who? Israel. Right? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Right? Let's take a look here at the video here. If there's an advertisement, I'm sorry. I tried to play through it before. Let's see. Hopefully it doesn't. Yeah, it's going to add, guys.
The fascists can be beaten.
I apologize. I'm going to lower the volume as the ad goes because I don't want to stop it. And hopefully my video recorder is not scrambling the videos you guys seen, especially the first one too, but you guys can hear it. All right, let's raise it up.
There was a vote in the Senate yesterday in relation to a motion put forward by Senator Hansen, which the government should have opposed. Yesterday, as a result of an administrative process failure, the government senators in the chamber ended up on advice voting in support of the motion. As leader of the government in the Senate, I take responsibility for that error, and I'm sorry that that happened. It was indeed regrettable.
People have a right to be proud of their cultural background, whether they are black, white or brindle. If we cannot agree on this, I think it's safe to say any white racism is well and truly rife in our society.
We deplore racism of any kind. That is a very clear position, and we should have opposed the motion when it came up in the Senate yesterday, as we had decided in September, with a statement making clear that we deplore racism of any kind. Thank you.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Well, how eye-catching that was, really. I mean, and you guys can go and just check in Israel and type in Israel and what's all over, including even like CNN and everything, all about Australia to move their embassy, right? Australian embassy to move. Australia could move Israel embassy to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv, right? Here's Netanyahu. There they all are right there. Israeli border woman, police woman, right? Australia considering moving embassy to Jerusalem, CNN. And who's right there? Steve Mnuchin. And you can't make this shit up. Guys, I'm out. I can't stand this shit. Enjoy your day. All right? Peace.